Welcome everyone, my name is Jacob. This is Hunt Detail. Thank you for joining me. And I do want to remind you that there is a YouTube version of this podcast on Hunt Detail channel on YouTube. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's J_Coons_hunts. And this time we're talking about gear of the year. And so for those of you that are listening to this, you may want to check out the YouTube channel for some of the visual dynamics of this podcast. I will be descriptive, but just an FYI. So for me, it's going to be a mix of Western hunting and Eastern hunting gear. And sometimes there's overlap. And of course, if you live in the West, it doesn't mean that you don't hunt out of a hunting saddle. And if you live in the East, it doesn't mean that you don't plan out-of-state trips or Western hunts, etc. So you're getting a little bit of a mix. And personally, I kind of like it because I think it's important to constantly look and evolve our gear, and we can take things from Western hunting and Eastern hunting and all that. So what I'm going to start with is something I've talked about quite a bit. Well, first of all, we'll start with my pack. This is the Eberlestock Bandit, and I use this for my hunts here in the East when hunting whitetail or whatever. And it really works out really well because I can put my platform on here, strap it in. I put my sticks on here, strap those in, and it's really rock solid. It's super tight, and I got this last year. I've used it a ton this year, and it was 100. I think it retails for $150. I think I got it for 110, and it's just really perfect for what I like to do from a saddle hunting standpoint. Now, on the top here, you see some sticks. These are the Latitude SS Carbon climbing sticks, and I absolutely love these as well. I've talked a lot about these. They, I think, are $239 for three. I think it works out to be about, what was it, $80 a stick or something like that. And they're very lightweight. There's no metal. There's no moving parts. There's nothing. They do make a noise, of course, but it sounds very much like a rattling antler. It doesn't sound like the clang of metal. And then lastly, you see here I have these zip ties, or not zip ties. These are from Night Eyes. These are ties from Night Eyes. I have them at the top and at the bottom here of these sticks. And so once I cinch the sticks together, I set them on top. I pull these ties together, twist it a couple times, wrap it around the fingers or the foot placement of the steps, and it's just easy. It's quiet. They don't move around, they don't make noise, and it keeps it tight to the pack. So those are some just right out of the gate. These are some of my gear of the year in terms of Eastern hunting. Now I have some other gear here. This is the a Hydra Pack, and this I think is 3 liters, and I love this because when I went out to Wyoming to hunt elk this year, I used it a ton. It's obviously collapsible. It has an attachment here where you can add a spigot to it. It just sort of comes. There's a piece at the top here that allows you to open that up, and then this lid removes. You can actually screw in a filter here, and so this bag is this Hydra Pack water bag is incredibly durable. It's not something like what you have with your traditional water bladders, and it has MOLLE paneling here, so you could ostensibly strap it to something on an outside of a pack. But I just think water is so critical in the backcountry, and that could be Western hunting, and it could be if you're hunting a particular state, and it's just so critical to your hunt, and you got to have some sort of system that works, because if you don't have a system that doesn't work, your hunt's going to be really miserable. It's going to be cut short. Earlier this year, I did a review on broadheads, and this is a Sevr 2.0 125 grain I did shoot a whitetail buck earlier this year with this. Really pleased how it performed. My only gripe are these bands on here that when it's in the quiver, it tends to push forward, and then lo and behold, one of these bands snap, and then you have a little bit of an issue there. But all in all, I really am pleased with. It's a titanium ferrule, chiseled tip, expands to a 2-inch cut diameter, creates a great wound channel, and really pleased with these broadheads, and something I'll be using for a while. My guess is that I'll probably use the 1.5 either on my bow or my son's bow. Those are the 2.0s. I think the 1.5 probably has a better chance of really locking out. The 2.0s expand, but to get them to really lock out, I think it might be a little 50-50 proposition. You're still going to make a giant wound channel. It just might not get to be a full 2 inches. It might be an inch and a half or something. With the inch and a half severs, I think that they could actually lock out with greater consistency, if that makes sense. All right, here we go. This is milkweed, and my gosh, if you're not using milkweed when you hunt anything that's going to be catching your scent, whether it's elk, deer, or anything else, it is such a great tool for looking at thermals, for looking at predominant wind, understanding where your scent is going. It's something that you're going to have to, I mean, I'm sure you could buy some online, but honestly, you can find it if you're out scouting or hunting, and just shove it in your pocket and keep it, because milkweed is a game changer if you haven't been using it, and I've been using it for a long time, and I have to mention it because it's something that's absolutely free. So what I have here are Walker's Razor Quad. These are earmuffs, if you will, for the shooting range. They you turn them on. They have a external microphone, so you can hear while you have them on. And there's a 2/10 of a second delay when you shoot. These shut off, and so it protects your ears. It does reduce noise by approximately 26 decibels. And while that's not perfect, you're still going to get some residual sound. It is better than what I find myself doing, which is either wearing earmuffs that feel like I'm wearing a box on my head and I can't hear anything. I can't communicate with the people that I'm with. I have used these hunting, and I will say it's good. You can still hear. It's not directional, though. You hear something and you're not quite sure what direction it came from. Also, it does sort of amplify your own noise, so it kind of gives you an opportunity to evaluate what you're doing that makes noise, whether it's your clothing or the steps you're taking, that sort of thing. But I do think it's a nice option to have, because I have shot my rifle, shotgun, muzzleloader without earmuffs, because when you're hunting, you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I just want to get my shot off. And none of us want long-term ear damage. So really like those, and have been really pleased with those. So earlier this year, I took my son out. He shot a buck for his first buck. It was youth rifle, and I had this Primos sort of a shooting stick. It's a Trigger Stick Gen 2. And it just had sort of your traditional V at the top. But then I found this add-on piece from Primos, and it's an actual rest for whatever weapon you're using. And so it worked out great, because when we've turkey hunted, my son, who's 14, as strong as he is, he's not able to really hold that shotgun well, or that rifle well. And nobody should be shooting freehand per se, but definitely not kids. And so we would set the shotgun on this, and it would just set there in front of him, so he wouldn't have to hold it and constantly be moving. And then when he shot his buck, it was on the rifle was on this rest, and he actually tracked the buck with it, and then shot when the buck finally stopped and had an open, clear shot. And so I just think that that has been a great addition to my gear this year, and it's something that we'll be using going forward. So let's look at some more stuff here. This is a simple yellow. This is yellow, but a simple like pencil bag that you can get on Amazon. It's mesh in nature, and I use them for a lot of different things. You see, companies will try to sell you their own version of sort of a bag that holds your kill kit, or a bag that holds your trail cam pieces or other things, and you don't have to spend that much amount of money when you can just go on, buy these on Amazon. And these are, again, school supply mesh bags, and they cost you a couple dollars for a whole bunch of them. And here you can see I've got my trail cam stuff in them, and very helpful, easy to sort of organize your stuff and make sure you have what you need, and not use like plastic Ziplocs that are going to tear, or other bags that aren't mesh that you can't see through. With this, I can see through it. I can see I have all my stuff, and it keeps it really tight and organized. This is the Life Gear lantern, and this not only works as a flashlight, but it has the lantern piece, a light bulb here in the handle, that if I lay down or if I want, I can even hang it. This actually is great tool for when I'm processing in the field, whatever, my deer, and I set it there, and I can see, and it's hands free. There is it does have a flash option for red, so if maybe you were in some sort of, you're trying to fix a flat tire, you want to put this on the road to sort of let people know. It's a really nice piece of equipment, I think. It's very simple. It's like your old flashlight, but it does things that your headlamp just isn't quite going to do. And you can, of course, use it in combination with your headlamp as it relates to if you need hands-free. You've got multiple directions of light, whether it's maybe working on a car, changing a tire, or processing that deer. What I've got next is Zoleo. I used this again when I went out west, and it's a global satellite communicator. And what you do is it communicates in Bluetooth with your phone. So you can text your friends, your spouse, whoever you need to text. You can send an SOS directly from this, and you can send pre-created messages from this. But you can also connect it via Bluetooth through your phone and text. Now, it's not real time. There is a delay, and the people that you communicate with will have a delay on their end in terms of receiving and sending messages. But I was hunting solo in Wyoming, and I really wanted to communicate with my wife. This really worked well, and it's a little less expensive than the Garmin InReach. I would encourage you to check them both out. They both work, but this is an option if you don't want to maybe spend $300 on the Garmin InReach. You can spend $200 on the Zoleo. So speaking of going out west, I gotta say the Easy Sucker from Phelps Game Calls. I really like how soft this cow elk call works. It's very subtle. It sounds like a calf, which is what I was trying to sound like, because it's less intimidating than sounding like a full-blown cow. And I was in elk every day, and I probably got busted every day, to be quite honest. But it was helpful in getting elk to come in. Unfortunately for me, I just couldn't get a shot. But that's the way it goes with archery hunting. So. So it's a little different. You're sucking in. You're not blowing out. This is a Quaker Boy external read cow call. So you can hear a little bit of the difference between the two. They're both great calls, but I like the Phelps Easy Sucker. I thought that's a really solid cow oil call. So this is, if you're looking at the video, I've got the face of my Excalibur dehydrator. And I didn't want to drag the whole dehydrator out here, but it's a 9-tray dehydrator. I think it cost me $300. And every night after a long day of hunting, elk hunting out west, a dehydrated meal that I had prepared here at home made all the difference in the world. I would have some sort of rice or pasta with some vegetables dehydrated along with venison or with elk meat. And these are animals that I had killed and myself and processed myself. And I would mix in a little packet of oil, like olive oil, and cook that in my jet boil. And my gosh, that was like it was something I looked forward to so much every evening when I got back to my vehicle or back to my tent. I was like, man, I can't wait to eat dinner. And so it just made all the difference in the world. I know there's a lot of great dehydrated meals out there, and I've talked about some of the dehydrated meal options out there, and you can actually click on the link here. I'll make sure to add that if you want to look at. There's about 20 different dehydrated meal companies, and one of their meals that I look at. But it just doesn't taste the same, and it's probably not as good as what you can create at home. And that Excalibur dehydrator was awesome. You know, another thing I'll mention in that same vein was downloading on my phone a movie or a TV show to watch while I was eating dinner at my tent or my camp or whatever. It just, it was a real game changer because you're grinding all day. For me, I was hunting solo, and I would get back, I would do my chores, so to speak, around my tent, and then I would get my dinner ready, and I would get sort of settled in, eat my dinner, and watch the latest season of Yellowstone or something like that. And it really felt good. And I would communicate with my Zolio at the same time, and it felt like I was somehow connected to the real world. But that was those are a couple things. This is a marsupial gear, and this is a rifle, it's a rifle cover. And this is something that I've purchased this year and already used, and I like quite a bit. It's this portion of it covers your scope and trigger area, and it has a handle. It just clips around it, and so you can carry that with a handle, and you're not bumping your scope settings or any of your action on your rifle with brush or anything of that nature. And then, of course, this fits around the edge, the end of the rifle barrel. It's even set up to where it could cover a suppressor and keeps debris out of the barrel as well, which we all know is really important. And if it's, of course, raining or snowing or whatever, my rifle is protected. And I just really like this. I like the design. And I think if you're hunting in the backcountry setting or a place where you're going to be busting brush, it's really nice to have that on your rifle. So that was marsupial gear, and it's I think it's about $150, maybe $200. It's not cheap for sure. This is from Alaska Guide Creations. I did a review on bino harnesses, and I will put a link up here for that. What I like about my bino harness with Alaska Guide Creations. Now, there are some things that I don't love about it. It is very boxy, but I do love the MOLLE paneling on the front and on the bottom and on the side. There's a lot of things that I can attach to this and add to this to make it really unique for my particular hunt. It has a pocket and a pouch in the back. It has a nice sort of web strapping on over my shoulders, so it doesn't cut into my shoulders. And this actually does sort of wrap down the vinyl lid of the bucket does wrap down if I want to keep it that way, or if I just want it to sort of fall down, I can have it that way as well. But I do really like this. There are some other harnesses out there that are really great. I would encourage you to check out that video. But this was a really solid addition this year. For those of you that hunt in areas that have rivers or creeks or streams, and you're trying to get away from pressure of other people or get to a particular area, this is I think it's called Rapid Raft from Uncharted Supply Company. I think it's about $450, and this is the raft. And it opens up. You have a large intake area for air, and you sort of flop it open, and you continue to do that, and then you can add manually add more air to it. But your initial setting up of it requires you to sort of flop it open, and if I can get that back to clip, something like that. But it's very lightweight, and you can imagine you could throw this on a backpack or in a backpack if you're hunting whitetail, or if you're hunting elk or bear or whatever, and you need to cross a creek or stream. This, my understanding is that it can handle Class 3 rapids, and this is something that I really have appreciated adding it to my kit, and to have it for when I need to get away or want to get to a particular spot, and I don't want to take a kayak or a canoe, or have something attached to my car. I can throw that in the back of my car, and it just have a small collapsible paddle with me, and it can help me get places that other folks won't or can't get. Last two pieces of gear here. This is a headlamp. It's a cylinder-based headlamp. And Peaks has one that looks just like this. This is a knockoff on Amazon. And I'll be honest with you, I recommend both. The Peaks headlamp, what I do like about it that makes it a bit different than the knockoff version that I found on Amazon, is that the Peaks version does have a very, very bright red lamp. It also locks, and it has a longer battery life. Now, I have both of these. This cost me $10. The Peaks cost me $90. So the Peaks, again, I like because it is a bit more dependable than the knockoff in regards to those reasons I mentioned. But from the design, I prefer a cylinder type headlamp over some of the box style headlamps that you may have seen. And I've looked at them. I looked at a bunch of headlamps, I think 9 different headlamps. I'll put a link up here for those headlamps, that review. But it's just the style of it, and the ease of use and the brightness. This is 1,000 lumens, and this was, again, $10 off of Amazon. I'll have a link in the description of this video for this headlamp and other pieces of gear that I've mentioned here. But I've really been pleased with this, and changing out of some of the generic headlamps that I used to use, like an Energizer headlamp or a Duracell headlamp, or some other iteration of those. Lastly, I'll share this with you as I get up a tree. I cannot stand fumbling around for hooks to hang my gear, like to hang my bow and to hang my backpack. And so this is just a string of hooks that I added to a strap. And then this is a figure 9 carabiner from Night Eyes. I like their gear a lot. And what I do is simply wrap it around the tree. I go into the lower part of this hook, and then go up to the top here where it has the teeth, and then it's set. It doesn't budge, and it takes me a matter of seconds to attach this to a tree, and I'm not, again, fumbling around adjusting the size of clips or anything like that, which I can't stand. I just want to get settled in the tree and start focusing on my surroundings and having the woods settle down. And so I really like that a lot. It's very quick, convenient, and doesn't make any noise. At least, strapping it in. But that is Gear of the Year. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Again, it's nothing is more fun to do than look at our hunting gear and try to upgrade our equipment as we go into next hunting season. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining me, and best of luck this season. All the best.